Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. By choice or not, many spouses work together. Alas, only sometimes does that work. My wife, Barbara Nemko, and I have worked together on many projects, notably 30 years as a frequent guest on my radio program, but also we were co-evaluators on projects at UC Berkeley. We were joint presenters at the Napa County Office of Education. We continue to do that. And we do our two-person stage play On Ben Out, which we're coincidentally doing another performance of tomorrow night in Napa. And we've not had one fight about those things, at least. Sure, we have disagreements, but 95% of the time, they're resolved with a quick, rational exchange, and the other 5% of the time, we'll argue briefly, and one of us gives in, we say we agree to disagree, or we compromise and we move on. No grudges. And in the larger picture, we've been together for 46 years, married for 43, and the following ideas have helped us, and I hope might help you. First, we acknowledge our strengths and our weaknesses. Where possible, we work together on projects in which the tasks come relatively easy to us, easily to us. For example, where we get to think on our feet, which is both of our best skills. And we divide the work on a project to capitalize on our strengths and skirt our weaknesses. So, for example, on the radio program, we tried having her host it, but that didn't work. And so now we've agreed, and we've long agreed, that I'm better at hosting and she is great at reacting. The next tip is we are, at the risk of sounding sanctimonious, we're grateful. Not sanctimonious, that we're sounding pious. We're grateful. We're grateful that we get to work with a person that we respect, usually on a project we believe is important. And we recognize that many people aren't that fortunate. For example, before we begin a presentation or go on stage or on the radio, I will often say something to her like, life doesn't get much better than this. Let's savor every moment. While that isn't the intention, statements like that at least partly inoculate us against bickering, let alone fighting. The next tip is we don't expect each of us to do 50%. Although Barb's a hard worker, she's not as driven as I am. So typically, I'll do more than half the work, but I don't resent it. It's just a difference in our personality. Barb does enough to make it well worth our working together. For example, in preparing for a radio program, I'll usually do more of the research and just give Barb a list of the nuggets that I've gleaned so we can both draw from that content. I feel fine about doing more of the work because I know that her voice is more pleasant than mine, her explanations are filled with common sense, and she's usually funnier than I am. The next tip is we prize rationality. We are convinced that projects are more successful and more pleasant if we don't air our feelings, unless it's something serious. We believe that letting small things roll off our back rather than express our aggrievement is key to our successfully and enjoyably working together. After all these years, we continue to look for opportunities to work together. And the final tip is we apologize quickly. When either of us have erred or think the other person is right, we're quick to say, you're right, or I apologize, and we move on. As I said earlier, we don't hold grudges or bring up past screw-ups. Look, I have to acknowledge that many couples are wise to not work together, and these tips may seem a little bit too flighty and not realistic, but if you're doing it, you're working together, or considering doing it, just maybe, one or more of these tips can help. In any event, I thank you for watching, and feel free to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you seem appropriate, to hit the share button and share it on your social media, to subscribe to this channel, and in any event, I do appreciate your watching. I am Marty Nemko.